Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the flaming hot grilled cheese burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Yes.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has those game ready.
Let's go!
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, rowpaint.com, and the Blue and Orange store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how How we doing, Bronco Nation? Happy Monday to you here at Bronco Nation News at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. Got a great show for you planned today. Jay Tust going to join us. Going to preview Pro Day tomorrow. Spencer Danielson is meeting with the media today. We're going to talk about that. And our old friend Chris Van Sickle, BNN recruiting analyst, going to join us. We're going to talk about some of the incoming freshmen that he's excited to see and some position groups he's excited to watch as spring practice gets going on Thursday. So a lot going on with Pro Day tomorrow. First practice on Thursday. And as I said, Spencer Danielson's first press conference of the spring, his first time talking in a while, coming up today at noon. So a lot going on, and appreciate you for joining us here in the Sun Cruiser studios. Sun Cruiser, whether it's iced tea, vodka, lemonade, vodka, make sure you pick up a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. And of course, Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Appreciate Jim Sturk and company, Jamie Drake, the whole crew over there at Lithia Ford of Boise for their support of Bronco Nation News. And I've also forgot the busy week. We also have a tour of the North End Zone on Friday. So a ton going on this week. The media gets an updated tour of the North End Zone coming up on Friday. So looking forward to that as well. A lot going on, and excited to kick off the week with you guys here on Bronco Nation News. And also excited to kick it off with our man Jay Tust here on Bronco Nation News. Jay, you got us? He's giving me a thumbs up, but he's not talking, so we'll see. You there, Jay? You good?
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't
Yes.
hear you at the moment. So give me one more second. I'm going to try to restart this one more time.
All right, no worries. No worries, Jay. No worries. Jay Tust will be right back with us here momentarily as he's trying to figure out his computer. I like the joke there. 3 minutes till the 5-minute countdown. Let's go. I actually started 2 minutes early when I saw that, just for the sake of just because I could. Let's go Broncos. Can't wait for football season. Good morning from Idaho, watching from Minnesota. Appreciate everybody. Plenty of basketball still to discuss, but it's going to be a pretty heavy football from here on out for spring ball for the next month. We'll have transfer portal news. We'll have basketball news. But for the most part, we're going to be hot and heavy on Boise State football going into spring practice on Thursday. And their schedule is going to be pretty much Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday practices for the next month or so. The spring game is April 25th. But they'll start Thursday and then Saturday. And then, like I said, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The Tuesday and Thursday ones will have open practice, open media. And then I think the Saturday ones are closed, but there might be some scrimmages and things on the Saturdays. So tons of football coverage coming. And if you have any questions for Spencer Danielson, throw those in the chat. I don't know. I'm going to try, but I can't promise you that we're going to be able to stream the press conference today at noon. Going to do my best, but got to make sure I have all the right equipment, and there's just some stuff going on this morning. So we'll do my best to stream Spencer Danielson's press conference today on BNN. So check for that. We will try again. Jay Tust gave me the thumbs up. I believe he can hear me. There we are. How are we, Jay?
Sorry. Man, technology waking up on a Monday. I don't know what's going on. So
well, we heard you the whole time, so I don't know what it must have been speaker. It's crazy how it sometimes just decides not to work. I don't know.
I did a computer update last night, so I don't know if some settings got messed up. We're all good now.
Well, it's a Monday. Appreciate you for subbing in, making your schedule switch. Brad Bedell is resuming his weekly appearances with football back in full swing, but he had a meeting this morning, so he's going to do tomorrow and flip days with you this week. But appreciate you for making this work. I know you have a show today. You're super busy, but hopefully for the next 30 minutes or so, we can at least talk a little football, basketball. We got a lot going on, Jay. Utah State ends their run yesterday. Great game. Wish they'd have been a higher seed than an 8 or 9. They kind of got screwed there, I thought. But, Bronco 130 appreciates the money for the conference, but enjoyed watching them lose yesterday. Well, you ain't getting the money unless you're Mountain West honk. That money ain't going to the Pac-12. So that money stays with the Mountain West. So Gloria Navarez certainly enjoyed that run, but not good enough to attend, by the way. I don't know if you saw Mark Ziegler's tweet, and then he actually asked Jared Calhoun about it. I love Mark Ziegler. He's the one that ticked off the first day. I forget who the coach was at Villanova that said he was going to fire his staff or whatever as a joke during one of the timeouts. And then he asked him about it and said it was going viral. And after the game, and then yesterday he asked Calhoun how he felt about nobody from the Mountain West being at the game. And Calhoun said it's been I think his quote was, "It's been an ugly breakup. Let's tell it like it is." But nobody from the Mountain West showed up. But they're going to take that multiple $1 million that Utah State earned them by beating Villanova. That money does stay in that conference. But news this morning that it looks like they may be losing their head coach for the 4th time in 8 years. Multiple reports saying that they are no deals done. But Jeff Goodman on the Field of 68 said he could be done as early as today. He expects Cincinnati to hire Jared Calhoun. That's where he went to school, I believe, Cincinnati. So he's going back home, and that could happen. And that would be at this point, I fully expect them to hire a good coach, Jay, but that'd be their, losing their 4th coach in 8 years, man. At some point, it's going to be tough to just keep this thing rolling. And I really like Calhoun. He's a nice guy. He was always super nice to me. I think he's kind of a BSer, but he's always at least when you talk to him, always, says, heck, he said he enjoys my coverage of the league. So we know he's BSing, but I'm not supposed to say nice things about Utah State on here, I guess. I get it. But I feel for them because they've really built something in basketball. And I thought if they could have kept him going into the Pac-12, it would have been a big, big thing. And so not done yet, but it looks like they may be losing their coach. And that's a tough one for Utah State, but also for the Pac-12 here.
Yeah, I agree with that. Calhoun's done a really good job there. And it's funny because after they lost Danny, I just think that it was like, man, they can't do this again. Did it again, Yep. So something about the program that speaks volumes of their success.
And I believe he's got like a $4+ million buyout. So they're going to have plenty of money to, again, hire their next coach. I did want to mostly talk football, Jay, but just while we're on basketball, we're down to the Sweet 16 now. You do have 2 Mountain West teams still playing in the NIT. Mm-hmm. Nevada won and New Mexico won. And I say Mountain West teams because they are both staying in the Mountain West. But they are down to 8 teams there. And I think Nevada's got to play at Auburn now in their next game. And then I think New Mexico gets to host one more game themselves. But did you see I talked about it a little bit last week with Prater, but I never really got to dive into it. Did you see the Matt Brown extra points article on the budgets?
Yeah.
I tweeted a few things about that, and some people kind of, everybody has their agenda. They either like Leon in the program or they don't. And so it doesn't matter. And they're going to swing anything, whichever way they want. And I think some of my comments, I think were a little misconstrued. No, this season was not okay. Nobody is saying losing to Hawaii Pacific and San Jose State is acceptable, and these are the expectations of the program. I think we all agree with that. But if you just want to look on paper, they had the 6th biggest budget in the league, and they finished 6th. And I think that some people expecting crazy good things out of this program year after year, I think this was a little – I don't know if wake-up call is the right word, but I think you do step back and look at it, Jay, and go, okay, like – you want this team to consistently finish higher in the standings than Utah State and San Diego State, and yet these schools are spending millions more than you are. And so in an individual vacuum in a year, there's years where, yes, you should be able to kind of finish higher than them. You can do better. I get it. Like, they didn't lose to San Jose State because their budget was 6th. Like, I understand that. But when you look at the last 16 years of Leon, where they've consistently been bottom to middle, 6th is one of the higher budgets they've had, to be honest. They're usually 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th a lot of years. Mm-hmm. You do look at the big picture and what expectations are on this program. I think some people have a little too inflated expectations of what this – someone compared it to football, and I said, well, football literally spends the most in the conference, and guess what? They win the conference almost every year. I'm not saying you should be okay finishing 6th every year, but when you're spending millions less than the other schools – consistently expecting to beat them in the standings, I think is a little misguided by some.
I honestly think this is one of those situations, BJ, where, both things can be true, right? Like I think that, you look at the budget, and I think like one important thing to acknowledge is like, that's operating expenses, right? Like that doesn't include what you would, revenue share with players or any of that stuff.
Which is probably the one most important. The team, if you want to really dive it down, however much you pay your players, the better teams that pay more pay their players. But I don't think, Jay, 6th is probably not too far off from where they are in the rev share, to be honest.
Unfortunately, none of us know that because that isn't public knowledge, right? So all I'll say is that, you look back at, there was a tweet earlier this week, which I think it might have been DraftKings, or not DraftKings, FanDuel, which they had a rough weekend in my opinion. But anyways, they tweeted out something like, Utah State's roster is 1.5 million, and I stayed back from that one, but I was like, well, I don't think that's true. And then Jared Calhoun comes out and says, that it's significantly more than that, $2.4 million. So but honestly, it just goes to show you that nobody really knows. So,
and sometimes is it cash? Is it a house?
That's what I mean.
Car? Is it part of it from the rev share? Part of it from the Horseshoe Collective? Like, you don't really know.
Yeah. Anyway, so there is more to that figure, which I think is worth pointing out. All that being said, you look at the whole body of work, and it's hard. I mean, personally, it's hard to disagree with you. Like, you look at the whole body of work and what they've been able to sustain here for, 15, 16 seasons now. It's been impressive. That operating budget, that figure is now different than it was before, because that truly was your operating budget at one point in time. Now it's different, but that's also for everybody, right? Like, so.
But that stuff still is like more coaches.
Yeah.
It's better travel. It's more meals for your players, a better recruiting budget. Like, it still matters.
Yeah. I guess I don't think, like, and I'm not saying that you are implying this at all, because you have expressed this stuff as much as anybody, but like, when it comes to like chartered flights and stuff like that, like, they get so much more support now than they once did. So the program is certainly elevated, but I think that they've done an efficient job with what they've been given. I think that it's really hard to argue, those results over that body of work. Now, that being said, as you also pointed out, I mean, you make the argument, you could easily make the argument that they had the worst loss to begin and end the season of the Leon Rice era. They had the worst loss to start and finish season in college basketball this year. I mean, you lost to
college basketball history.
And then if you look at it, BJ, off of opponent winning percentage, that was the worst loss of the Leon Rice era. San Jose State's winning percentage at the time was 273 or something like that. They had never lost to a team with a worse winning percentage than that. So, I mean, the bookends are unforgettable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I also, unfortunately, you probably forget about some of the stuff that happened in the middle of those bookends, where you wrote them off a number of times and they did get up off the mat and have some success. I mean, I never would have thought that they would just go. I thought they'd go give Colorado State a game at the end of the season. Don't get me wrong, but to go in there and just boat race them in Fort Collins, like, that doesn't happen. Better teams haven't been able to do that. And so that was
winning at the pit,
where I was like, man, maybe they will go win 4 games in 4 days. And then, as Leon kind of his mannerisms demonstrated in his post-game press conference, it was up and down. And I might be getting too far away from your question here. I just think that both can be true. Like, yeah, that it's you have to win those 2 games. Like,
oh yeah,
unexcusable. But I think they've also been very efficient with resources over the years. And I still believe that the administration is fully behind them. I mean, you and I both covered the program before this regime, and it was very, very different. And, Leon loves to tell the story that he walked into Extra Mile Arena one day and half the lights on the old scoreboard, which actually had bulbs on it, were burnt out. And he's like, who's fixing these things? And there was nobody there to do it. And now he doesn't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
Yep. And I know a lot of people, and for good reason, do say that run in 2022 that started was, Tyson Degenhardt had a very big part of that. And that is probably the number one reason. But that is also the year they raised the investment in this program and started with a lot of the chartered flights and increased the budget. And when Jeremiah came in and kind of took over, and that again, Tyson deserves most of the credit for that, and the players and the coaches, and I get it. But I don't think it's a total coincidence that they went from flying Southwest to flying charters pretty much every conference game, every game now pretty much they fly charter, and that run started in 2022. So I'm not making an excuse. It was a rough year. There's no doubt about it. But I saw some people and just some of the crazy hot takes about where this program's going and is Leon the right guy and all this stuff. And I just kind of chuckle because it's like when this budget stuff came out, I think some people realistically want football team expectations with a New Mexico football type budget. I mean, maybe that's a little too far to say it, but whoever the sixth best budget is in football in the Mountain West. Let's go find who that would be, and that's probably, I don't know, Colorado State or New Mexico. Maybe New Mexico's too low. I don't know, but that mid-level 6-win type football team is the budget you're talking about in comparison, and you're wanting the results of the Boise State football team, and you're just not going to get it. And so I just, is coaching to blame for some of these losses? Of course. Should the program have an NCAA tournament win by now? Of course. Has it been is it been the prettiest of last 16 years at times? Slow growth, as Prater likes to call it, whatever. I'm not arguing any of that. The ceiling should be high. You should have very high expectations for this program. I'm not settling for mediocrity, but I do think some just have a little inflated, unrealistic big picture goals. I love when Prairie View A&M beat somebody the other day in the play-in game. Was it Prairie View A&M that won? Somebody won a game in this happens every year. They said Dayton. Prairie View A&M has more NCAA tournament wins than Boise State. You're a 16 seed that won your one bid league and you played another 16 team. The goalpost is just funny sometimes. And again, I'm not making excuses for this season. Changes need to come. The roster is going to look a lot different this year. I do think, whether you call it pressure, hot seat, whatever you want to say, I do think that this is an important year where they need to get things turned around, where you may see some much bigger changes than a few players on the roster, Jay, next year. I think this is a very important year coming up, but I also think some folks need to take a deep breath and say your team won 20 games. You were competitive in most of the games you played. There were a couple bad blowouts that we're not used to seeing. It was certainly a rough year this year in a lot of different ways. But big picture-wise, you win 20-plus games almost every year. You're on the bubble, in the mix come March almost every year with a mid-level budget. And you also get to root for a football team that's competing for the CFP I said all along, Jay, when I first got here, all you should want from this is kind of disrespectful. I know the expectations should be higher than this. But if you have a football team that's top 25 and always in the mix and a national power and brand like Boise State football, all you really should want from your basketball team is to keep you entertained, keep you excited, keep you in the mix until spring football starts. And I know the expectations should be a little higher than that, and I get it. But the kind of big picture is they've been doing that. They're very competitive. It's a good group. You don't see these guys getting arrested and stuff. It's a good group, and they win 20-plus games, and they are in the mix every year, and it's a fun team to watch most nights. And then you look up and it's spring football starting this week. And I feel like they, and so I get it. It's the chicken or the egg. Do you win the tournament game, or do you give them another $5 million in the butt? I mean, I understand that it is kind of the chicken or the egg. And at some point you do need the results. I get that. But when those numbers came out, I think it just, for me, kind of was okay, this should be not wake up call, but this should be, I think, a bar mover for some fans when you kind of look at the reality of where you're at.
Yeah. Shout out Matt Brown too, because he does a fantastic job.
He had to literally FOIA and 200+ schools, where you fill out this form and then they have to.
I want no part of understanding how tedious and how much time that took, because that is just that is grueling, tedious work there. So good on him and his team for getting that done, because I think it was interesting, and it had a lot of people's attention. A lot of people were tweeting about it, and some people were misinterpreting the numbers and what they actually mean and things like that. So it's definitely worth talking out. But
speaking of misinterpreting, Bronco 130, it seems as if BJ doesn't think there are basketball fans in this town that would like to see them get to the tourney and win. I don't think I said anything close to that. Of course you want to see them get to the tournament and win. And like I said, for this program and the talent they've had, Jay, and the coaching they've had, the last 16 years, they should have a tournament win. The fact that they don't is, I won't say criminal, but this program has had enough good teams, enough good players. They should have a tournament win. And the fact that they don't, that is bad. I just don't think – I think some folks demand them to how have they – first of all, Leon's 0-5. He's not 0-10, as some like to mix up. But I think I just think that the big picture, you look at the last 16 years, I think some people have, again, a Colorado State football budget – and you want Boise State football results. It just doesn't happen.
It'll be interesting, moving into the Pac-12, kind of a separate topic that I think is related. I'm not using this as an excuse, but they're also due a break by the NCAA tournament committee, I would say, which, we saw Utah State get slotted as a 9 seed this year, which didn't seem like they were deserving of that. So maybe once you're in a league with Gonzaga, who, I mean, is a perennial power, obviously, in college basketball, maybe they will help boost up the league a little bit and they'll get a little bit more credit. And I mean, I would almost liken that to St. Mary's. St. Mary's often gets, I would say decent seeds in the NCAA tournament. That's a team that Boise State is 3-0 against in the last 3 years, So they're perfect against St. Mary's in the last 3 years. So,
by the way, if Randy Bennett goes to Arizona State, which people are saying is possible, that was one reason why I was not advocating for St. Mary's to go to the Pac-12.
You don't know what it's going to look like.
I'll be very curious when Randy Bennett leaves if they're able to keep that thing going.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I agree with you. He's probably going to leave it if that is the case. He certainly leaves it in a better position than he found it. But to complement his own skill set, it's going to be interesting to see if that's sustainable after he leaves. No doubt. I agree with you. But a big year. I agree. Big year coming up for the Broncos, and I think that through it all you learn, and I think that you look at the transfer portal and who you bring in, and I mean, nobody knows this better than the guys that are actually friggin' doing it. But, last year you bring in Alvaro Cardenas, right, who was just like one of the best leaders they've ever had. I mean, he was tremendous. And this year, you go to the portal and you bring in probably a guy that, like, just skill-wise, talent-wise, I mean, it is what it is. Like, probably better. But, man, you saw how Al like glued it all together and made it work.
Yep.
And so after the last game, you heard Leon Rice continue to, I don't know how many times he said it in this press conference that, they want some dogs. They're going to go out and get some dogs this year and things like that. So I think as you navigate this era of basketball, which we can't pretend is the same as recruiting in yesteryear, it is just different. But I think that those are things that now that, you try to weigh and attack it. But I'll also say this, like, if anybody wants to be critical, what's your level of confidence that this team's going to be competitive in the Pac-12 next year? What's your level of confidence if Boise State shows up and is competitive in the Pac-12 next year?
I mean, proof is in the pudding.
Pretty good, right? I mean, pretty good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think that shows how it's changed, where they're going into a new, tougher league, and you're still going to expect them to do what they did. Okay, all right, that's 3.5. It seems a little low out of 10. But, hey, that's your opinion. That's okay. That's all right. I don't know. I personally feel like I expect them to go into the Pac-12 and compete.
I would say, from my understanding, Jay, this is a big week probably, I guess, too. I think they're back from spring break, right? A lot of the players and stuff.
Spring break was last week, yeah.
I believe this is the week that a lot of those conversations with coaches and Cody Gogler and everything else probably happen in here in the next couple, at least in the next couple weeks. It's got to be happening here at some point.
Well, the portal opens up in, we're less than about 2 weeks.
Is it the day after the championship game or what?
About 2 weeks. Yeah. Today's Monday, so
I would suspect they got to start having these conversations and trying to re-sign the guys they want to re-sign and let guys go that they don't want to bring back, or however that's going to go. So I think we'll start to get some news on that. And obviously it starts with Drew Fielder, and we'll be following that and watching that and moving forward here. But Jay only got you for limited.
Another interesting one too. I'll throw him in there just because.
Who's that?
Javen Buchanan. I talked to Tim Duryea, last week on Bronco Studios, and he even said that's. You don't really know at this point. Maybe it's even changed since then, by the way, because it's all so fluid. But he started his career at the NAIA level. He couldn't earn NIL money like the first part of his career. So,
can we get a Boise judge? Can we get a Boise judge? Somebody that's a season ticket holder to just.
It worked out for Bama.
Yes. Get some in. Nowadays, like
Judge Boucher's here, perfect.
I saw Alabama tried it again. The other guy, Alabama had another player arrested, and he was like removed from campus or whatever, and he just went to the local court and tried to get them to like overrule his own school's ruling and say you can play. Like, it's just crazy now. You don't get what you want, you go. But in this case, yes, there are guys with similar cases getting approved for extra years of college, and there's some lawsuits out there. I know there was a Purdue lineman. I don't know where the state of that is, but yeah, I mean, I would think if he really wanted to try to pursue this and even tried to put his own lawsuit together, if that was something he wanted to do, I think they have a case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see that. Honestly, the only reason why I bring that up is just to show how complicated it also is. Like in this era, there are very little targets that are set that you can aim for right now. Like the portal opens in a couple of weeks, and just due to the current structure of all the rules and the NCAA and all that stuff, man, like you're probably right. It's going to be a really important couple of weeks to build this thing back. I mean, again, 5 years ago, you had your recruiting class signed. Guys leaving through the transfer portal would have been guys that you probably could have predicted. And now it is just so friggin' different these days. So, yeah.
Well, I had the high of the weekend of my son hitting his first home run, and then I had the low of my alma mater losing on a buzzer beater on yesterday. So I will say I was at the field. My son had another game yesterday, watching the end of that KU game on my phone. So probably better than like drinking at a sports bar or something. I took it a little better because I was watching my son. The game ended literally while my son was like walking up to the plate, and then he roped a ground rule double. So
thank goodness.
I will at least take I didn't take it quite as hard probably because my mind was elsewhere. But when I went back later and was caught up on the 500 texts in my group chat from my buddies in college and watched all the interviews and everything, that was a rough one. And we're down to 16 teams, Jay, but they're all power conference teams, and everyone's making the big talk about money and all this stuff. But that's 2 years in a row, the only 2 years it's ever happened where there's no mid-majors in the Sweet 16. With Gonzaga getting knocked out, in the second round. So I know there's a lot of talk.
It's just so funny how quickly we discredit the mid majors in that conversation. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, but look at Iowa's roster. Where were they all last year?
You could go to every school on the thing.
So there's no mid majors.
Well, wasn't the guy at Idaho State that hit the buzzer beater for St. John's?
Former Washington State Cougar,
sorry,
Idaho State Bengal, and said he was going back, I believe, at one point in time. But yes, he wound up at St. John's. Hadn't
scored all game, and decides to just go dribble right to the rim.
Yeah. So it's wild. I guess my point though, there might not be a team from the non-power four or whatever in the NCAA tournament, but don't get it confused. Those teams are still well represented within the power four teams at the NCAA tournament. A lot of those guys came from those types of schools. So if you want to box them out, just saying that would be interesting.
All right, well, we'll follow basketball and the portal and all that stuff moving forward here. We do have Chris Van Sickle coming up in about 15 minutes. He is going to talk about some of the incoming freshmen that, he's recruited on or talked to and written about during their recruitment, and some of the guys he's excited to see on Thursday. What's your biggest question? I know you've had him in studio, I believe, at some point, but I haven't talked to Spencer in a while. He may or may not have sent me a text after the game last night, though. He's a college basketball guy that pays attention, but haven't talked anything football related in a long time. What's your biggest question for Spencer Danielson at the press conference today?
Oh man, it's one of those things, BJ, where you kind of wake up and you're like, gosh, it's kind of game day in those regards, and it's time to start identifying storylines and all that stuff. I think considering just how many guys they brought in at mid-year, like how much have they progressed, how much will they be a factor immediately? Because it was like, I believe when you combined the transfers and the true freshmen all coming in, I believe it was the biggest mid-year class they've ever had. So it's going to be interesting to see who's standing out, who's made the biggest jump. And I think always the fun thing, BJ, is just seeing after today's press conference, there's going to be a couple names that, we go back and we're like, oh, wow, he said that name a couple of times. They must be doing something. I'm going to go ahead and tweet that out, And I think that's something that I'm interested in. We also did a football in February special about a month ago on Bronco Nation. About a month ago. Yeah. And at the time we were talking about leadership, and Spencer was pretty open about it. He said, there's some position groups where, they were still waiting for the leader of that position group. Is like, there's some position groups that won't necessarily have that person identified right now. So We saw how last year the importance of all of that. I think a voice, leadership. I think guys speaking up and holding people accountable and all that stuff. So where does that stand? I think it's another thing that I'm excited to hear Spencer's take on.
Other than Cage Casey, who's the guy you're looking forward to seeing tomorrow at Pro Day?
Oh, I thought, yeah. I was going to say, other than Cage Casey's replacement, who are you excited about in spring ball? I mean, Cage is the guy that is going to have all the headlines, but if I'm being honest with you, I'm pretty stoked about seeing Braxton Feely on the bench press. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that guy's going to just wait. He's going to absolutely crush the bench press.
Okay. There's the prediction.
Sorry to hype you up, Braxton. I'll be your hype guy for that. But stand back and look out, everybody.
And then Thursday is the first practice. Friday is the media tour of the North End Zone. I know you've been down there at least a little more than we have, but I'm looking forward to.
Dude. Wait, when's the last time you were in there?
No, we got a tour with Nathan Burke 2 or 3 months ago. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more than that.
No, I was there. Actually, that was the last time I was in there. Prior to going through there, again, it was about a month ago when we did some interviews out there on Bronco Studios, and
I want to say it was during the bye week or something. It was 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah,
that was the last time I was in there prior to the time a month ago, and you're going to be like, "Whoa, this it actually looks like a structure now that you're going to you can really envision the final product." I mean, there's backsplash and finishings going up everywhere right now.
Yeah, so. I can't. By the way, I heard a little birdie tell me they're putting home plate in the other corner for banana ball.
Your birdie knows more than my birdie then, because I did not.
I heard maybe the corner down there by the new North End Zone.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe give you better visuals of the outfield and stuff being of the Sickle Sky Center. I don't know.
Okay. I have one thing I will say.
Would you want to show off that North End Zone project as much as possible on ESPN if you can?
I mean, I agree with you on that, and I think that right now that's what Nathan Burke told me on the show, is that they feel confident that they're going to be able to, utilize that to some degree for banana ball, and that's what they want to do. So that's the big sprint and push right now. And he's the best, dude. He lives over there trying to get this thing done.
We need the concert, man. I saw the Luke Combs concert. I didn't go to it, but I wanted to. But I saw he was at Allegiant Stadium or something the other night, kick off his new tour, and I just made me think about we got to get that was one of the funnest days on the Blue I've ever had, going to that Luke Combs concert. We got to get another big-time artist back on the Blue at some point here.
Yeah, those performances on the Blue are a lot of fun. I will be going to monster trucks on the Blue, that's for sure, with my 2.5-year-old son, who will almost be 3 by then.
Yeah, you had quite the weekend. Softball, gymnastics.
Yeah, we did.
Your kiddos had some fun, man.
We made the rounds on Saturday. We went to softball. And then we hit up a little Addo Pizza Company because it was right between the two, and then we moved over to gymnastics. So it was a good day,
man.
Kids
like this new KTVB, you'd have been working a 14-hour day, man.
Probably.
Well, what do we got on Bronco Studios today? I'm going to let you go and get ready for today's show, but you've still been cranking out some award-winning shows here. Tell us what today, and I know folks can go back and watch some of the old shows. The Tim Duryea interview I thought was really worthwhile for people to go back and listen to. You mentioned talking to him, but
Tim was pretty open. That was a good interview, I think. Yeah, today, lost in all the chaos, or shouldn't be lost. Our tennis teams are absolutely rolling right now, both the men and women. The women's win streak is now in double digits, so we'll recap how both those programs did over the weekend. Softball took 2 or 3 at Fresno State. We'll have some highlights of that. Gymnastics, they wrapped up the Mountain West Championships. We find out within the hour, I believe, who's moving on to to regionals or whatever. So hopefully we'll be well represented there. We definitely have a few gymnasts that are deserving. So we'll find out that soon. We'll recap that, and then obviously Spencer Danielson at noon, which will be here before we know it.
Yeah.
So we'll be sure to recap that press conference and pass along whatever we need to pass along. But that's the gist of it. And then pro day tomorrow, man. Get ready. You like pro day?
Now, Jay, you were always am I what?
Do you like pro day?
It's too long. I mean, you get super excited for it, and then
you do.
And then 10 minutes in, you're like, oh, we got 3 hours left of this.
I'll even give it the first 90 minutes. Like, the weight room stuff is fun. And then it just really slows down when we get over inside.
this is not a shot at your staff. I'm just pointing this out. There were years past, Jay, where we had a little more freedom to walk around on the field, talk to more people that were there. It was just a little more freedom and probably smartly so.
I think last
for folks
year
like Johnny that were making his way, through the drills and stuff. And you guys like you that would be right down there at the 40 with your camera right on the line as they're running by. They probably smartly said, okay, we got to corral this in a little bit. Media, you got to stay over here on this side now. So it was probably the right thing to do, but it's just a little tougher to talk to some of the coaches and people that are there. And when you're there for 4 hours, that was one thing that kind of got you through it, was who can I go talk to and whatever. But it's inside first for 90 minutes. Then you go outside to the field, not inside, but in the weight room. Then you go into the indoor. I don't mind it. But you're going to, now that I kid, but now you're going to, I can't wait to see what kind of footage you come up with now that you're going to be inside the ropes, so to speak. I
don't even know if I am. I got to ask, I guess.
Oh,
yeah. The last hour and a half, though, I will say by then everybody's kind of ready to do our interviews and move on with our.
It's like, the main reason. Okay, what position coaches are here for Cage? Or any GMs, whatever. And then we did all that hype for Ashton. I think he took like 5 carries or something, and it was like, okay, so who knows what Cage will do tomorrow?
5 carries.
We'll see what Cage does tomorrow, but. Looking forward to that, and I know you'll be all over it on Bronco Studios. Appreciate you on a busy day switching with Brad Bedell. Brad Bedell said your next beer's on him. So,
did he really say that? He didn't say that.
He did. Well, we'll have Brad Bedell.
I'm gonna go with a fancy one.
So, appreciate you, man. We'll see you down there for Spencer.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, appreciate it. There he is, Jay Tust. Go watch Bronco Studios today at 4:00. Chris Van Sickle is going to join us in momentarily. More football talk. We're going to talk about position groups you're excited about, players you're excited about. Who are you excited about to see out there in spring practice? Let us know in the chat, and we'll get to that here momentarily. Do want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, newer pre-owned vehicles. Check them out. View their inventory online, lithiafordboise.com. They got some great deals, specials going on right now. Go see Jim Sturk and company at Lithia Ford of Boise. Hey, Sun Cruiser, whether it's the iced tea vodkas, the lemonade vodkas, Sun Cruiser is where you need to go. And I'm trying to get back on my low carb here. My vacation's over, spring break's over. I got to try to dial back in here. And Sun Cruiser is a perfect low carb option if you're looking to enjoy a beverage. So Sun Cruiser, check them out online and at the various gas stations and grocery stores around town. Hey, ICCU, we're awaiting word on Pearson Carmichael and a lot of the folks on the basketball team for next season. But Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com, there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. And we appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union. I'll be heading in there today. Got to deposit some money, had some cash from my trip to Vegas. Got to put it back in the bank. So I'll be heading to Idaho Central Credit Union today. Easiest way to have your banking, and it's all done online for the most part, and just love ICCU, and we appreciate them. Hey, 99-cent coffee or hot chocolate. Let's Go Rewards app. Jackson's. We appreciate Jackson's. Just go to local Treasure Valley Jackson's location, and 99-cent Let's Go Rewards. You can get a coffee or hot chocolate. My kid got the breakfast sandwich. I guess it was Saturday or Sunday. Took my kids in there. They got the breakfast sandwiches. They were tremendous. Check them out at Jackson's. Taco Bell also got some great options. Appreciate the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. Again, talking football in 60 seconds with Chris Van Sickle. TacoBellWorks.com. You can check them out. The crispy chicken cantina tacos, all the great options they have there, the crunchy chicken strips, whether it's the breakfast quesadillas. Visit a Treasure Valley at Taco Bell location today. And if you need some new Boise State gear, getting ready for the spring game, they got it at the Blue and Orange Store. Online, the blueandorangestore.com is where you can go get all your Boise State gear, whether it's the jerseys, sweatshirts, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, logo golf balls. They got you covered online at the Blue and Orange Store, and they got the location at the Boise Town Square Mall, local location there at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame, or you can order anywhere in the world online at the Blue and Orange Store.com. All right, spring football starts on Thursday. A lot of newcomers. I think Mike Prater said it's over 30 newcomers to this year's roster, and nobody knows those newcomers better than our man Chris Van Sickle. Chris, sorry I'm 2 minutes late getting to you. It's hard to get me and Jay to shut up, but we appreciate you, man. You got a full-time job. You're carving out a few minutes for us here, and I hope you're doing well, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. I'm excited to be here. The courthouse world is busy today, but I always make time for BNN.
I like hearing that, man. press conference today with Spencer Danielson. First practice on Thursday. You've talked to all of these incoming freshmen, multiple times, multiple stories when they committed, when they signed. I mean, other than the coaches and the staff themselves, I don't think anybody, in this town probably knows the recruits and things as better than you do. I know you have a list of 5, but just generally before we kind of dive into the nitty gritty, what are you excited? What are you looking forward to on that first practice on Thursday?
Yeah, I'm weird. I want to see what numbers they all got assigned. Is that weird? I like that. I don't know. I just want to get that first roster and see what numbers, who changed numbers, whatever. Now, it's just exciting to be back in there, seeing football being played. Probably ain't going to be the prettiest football ever, but I'm excited to get in there.
Now, you gave me a list of 5 newcomers. I said, give me some newcomers you want to talk about or you're excited to see. And you don't have Rayshawn Jones on your list. And to me, he is probably the most intriguing guy. And I like that you didn't put him on there because you want to give some other guys some love here. Because everyone's going to be talking about him. But I want to temper the expectations on Rayshawn Jones. But from everything I'm hearing, man, he's got a chance. And I cannot wait to see him out there playing because every little birdie I talk to and things I hear, he has got a chance right away to be a major contributor on this team.
Yeah, he's a super interesting story. Was at Bend, knew he was going to be a Bronco, so just made the move to Rocky Mountain for a senior season. Came in bigger than I expected, 6'2", 185, 90 pounds, somewhere in there. And I saw your interview with Spencer Danielson. He spoke super highly of Rayshawn Jones. Just an overall weapon. Played running back for Rocky Mountain just because they needed the best player to get the ball. So that says a lot about him and his ability to move around. And I'm super excited to see what he can do. This is a super talented new group of wide receivers, and we'll get into that, no doubt.
All right. So you got 5, and you had wide receivers, one of your position groups you are excited about.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, you want me? I'll dive into those wide receivers.
Talk wide receivers and why you're excited about that group.
I think to sum it up is the word change. Some change both in wide receivers, but also in coaching. I hope Bronco Nation wishes Matt Miller.
Posted this week, by the way, he wrote an amazing story on Alvis Whitted that due to basketball season and other stuff, and I knew it didn't really have a shelf life. I've been holding on to it, but we'll get that thing posted here in the next few days.
It's coming. I really enjoyed doing some research on him and getting to know Alvis Whitted better. Wish Matt Miller nothing but the best. I hope Bronco Nation never forgets what he's done for this program. But Alvis Whitted comes in 8 years in the NFL. Played alongside. I liked it. I liked this the other day. I noticed he played alongside Randy Moss in Oakland. Like, that's pretty cool. You got to love that. 16 years coaching at the highest levels, Wisconsin, Utah, even a year at Green Bay for the Green Bay Packers. So I'm excited to see some change there at a position that I think not many people are going to argue was a stagnant position the last couple of seasons. And then you get into some of the names that they brought in. First, you talk about the names they lost: Latrell Caples, Chris Marshall, Chase Penry. That's a lot of production. That's the top 3 receiving receivers. Now you factor in Ben Ford, who was having a great season. Got cut short, and sounds like he's not going to be in spring. We'll find out for sure today. But Coach Whitted was pretty clear that he did not expect Ben Ford to participate in spring. Cam Bates was a guy he pointed out was really stepping into that leadership role, and then a guy who I've loved since pretty much he committed, Quentin Brown. I think I'm driving that train there. Quentin Brown, love to see him. But yeah, you mentioned Rayshawn Jones, Terrius Favors. I haven't heard much about him since he's been on campus. Obviously, I haven't had much of a chance to. 4-star player coming out of Georgia. University of Georgia tried to come in late and steal him away. Just an overall playmaker, elite track speed. Played running back, played quarterback as well. He had some good passes there as well. But you're excited to see this group. You get Darren Morris coming from the University of Southern, where he was pretty blatant with me, saying he just never got on the same page with his quarterbacks. He played with a bunch of different quarterbacks at Southern and never got on the same page. He was excited to come in and get to know Maddox Matson and hopefully get that chemistry going. And then you look at the JUCO All-American Akeem Wright. I know you've talked about him, BJ. huge numbers, 59 receptions, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. That's all you can ask for. The question becomes that jump in quality of opponent. I'm gonna say that a couple times today. It might be ugly the first day. Thursday might come around and he's getting dominated by Sherrod Smith and whatnot. But it's how they react and how they grow from there.
It only took us about 5 minutes to get the first Maddox Madsen. Hopefully he gets beaten out for the starting job comment here. George, just take a deep breath and look at another position battle because it ain't happening. I think the backup quarterback job could be interesting. Can one of the newcomers come in and push Max Cutforth for the backup job? But I don't think, even Mike Prater admitted on Friday's show, he's like, even he loves to string stuff out and try to have a controversy all offseason. He said he would love it, but he even said it's not happening. Maddox Madsen's going to be the guy this year. And if Mike Prater's jumping on board and finally saying that, like, I think people need to just – Maddox Madsen's the guy. Rally around him. Don't try to – there's not going to be a cube. They're going to say – they might even say today, oh, there's competition at every position, whatever. But let's not kid ourselves. Maddox Madsen will be the starter. But I do think the backup quarterback position could be an intriguing one. We got to pick up the pace here because we only have you for a limited time. Let's stay with your other position groups, then we'll get to the players. But what are you looking at on that offensive line?
Yeah, the offensive line is super interesting because if you look, you lose Cage Casey and Mason Randolph. Those are two huge pieces, but you have a ton of remaining experience. It just depends on where they're going to slot in. You look at center. Jason Steele, I want to make sure I got the right Steele. Jason Steele has had experience playing center, played left guard last season, played it really well. Yeah. But then you look at the youngster Stuart Teafu, I hope I said that correctly, came in, highly regarded recruit, played in 3 games, so just enough to where he didn't burn his red shirt. Looks like a talented player, so it's just going to be how comfortable they feel moving that over, or who's going to replace left guard. It's just this puzzle that you got to figure out. I'm concerned personally about Dalen Matoyer's health coming into the spring. I think he looked like he had a pretty serious injury. I know we'll knock on wood. So we'll see what they say today about Dalen Matoyer and the possibly missing some spring ball. The left tackle. It's been a cornerstone of Boise State for years. They bring in a guy, Tyler Etheridge, from D2, CSU Pueblo. They brought him in because of his experience. He's got a huge background. Played 3 years. Is coming in as a senior. A little undersized. He's going to be smaller than you're used to at left tackle, 6'3", but comes in with that huge experience, was a D2 All-American. I'm excited to see what he can do, and because you have to factor in Kyle Cox. Kyle Cox started against Washington in the bowl game, didn't play well. I'm sure he would admit that as well. Was facing a huge uphill battle against Washington. So we'll see where that sits on Thursday. I'm excited to kind of get a glance at that. And then a guy that some people I think have forgotten is Mills, the Ohio State transfer. It seemed like he dealt with some injuries last season. And I'm excited to see if he can come in and push for some time.
All right, we're going to go from one side of the ball to the other here in just a second. I do want to thank Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. Check them out online at BauscherRealEstate.com. We bought and sold our home from Matt and his team. They did a tremendous job. Bauscher Real Estate online, BauscherRealEstate.com. And Signature Roofing online, MySignatureRoofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, or repair, an estimate, or an inspection, check out online, My Signature Roofing, online at MySignatureRoofing.com. Again, all your roofing needs, hit up MySignatureRoofing.com. And we want those voicemails, speakpipe.com/BNN. Keep them coming there. And again, thanks to Matt Bauscher and also Signature Roofing. All right, you had interior defensive line also listed as a position you're going to be watching this spring.
Yeah, so you lose Braxton Feely. That's a huge loss. I don't think we understated how big of a loss Deion Washington's going to be as well. He played really well last season. Was a one-year guy. We knew that, but played really well. But returning, you've got David Latu, who played well, but wasn't always appeared to be all that healthy. BYU transfer. He walked away with 3.5 tackles for loss and a sack on the season. So you like that production from that nose guard. And then Lopez Sanusi, a guy who it feels like he's been here forever, but he's only a sophomore. He's getting bigger and stronger. I felt like he played well. But it'll just be a matter of who takes that next step and takes on that leadership role that Braxton Feely is going to be leaving. Because you look at the two, they brought in 2 defensive linemen, Mikhail Edward and Andrew Rowbottom, both extremely productive at the level they were playing. Now, Rowbottom was at De Anza College. It's a junior college. And then Edwards is going to be at Central Washington. Like I said, both over 40 tackles. Rowbottom's averaged 7 tackles a game as a defensive tackle. That's huge. But you question, how are they going to react when they come up against Roger Carrion? Let's just say it, the name. Roger. When he faces Roger Carrion, how is he going to look on Thursday? Might not be pretty the first day, but it's going to depend on how they are, how they respond. I know Spencer Danielson did mention Mikhail Edward in your interview as a guy who could come in and play right away. So I'm interested. I think there's a lot of upside here. David Latu in particular, get a healthy. I noticed today I was doing some research. Last year he was listed at 305. Today he was listed at 325. So that's a solid 20 pounds added there. You love to see that, and we'll see what happens on that interior defensive line.
All right. Yeah. Great info. You're killing it, Chris. We really appreciate it. I know you have some other recruiting stuff that we're going to be posting soon.
Yeah.
But you got 5 players. I know we talked about Tyler Etheridge a little bit already. He was on your list, but the lineman from CSU Pueblo coming over. You don't come over as a 1-year guy if you're not expecting to be a contributor and play, and they don't take you as a 1-year guy if they don't see you probably playing. I'm excited about Tyler Etheridge. Let's go through these other 4 guys, though. Let's start with Jericho Washington.
Yeah, Jericho Washington coming in from Kennesaw State. Really thought he could have ended up at SEC level. Was a second-team All-Conference USA. Was one of the leaders in pass breakups in the nation with 12 last season. He's coming in as a junior. Huge amount of starts, 26 starts. And that's what you look for when you're replacing Amarion McCoy and Jeremiah Irby. Now, Sherrod Smith played really well in his time. I'm penciling him in as one corner. But that second one, I could very well see Jericho Washington coming in and taking that over. He's an extremely talented player. Fits the build you want, 5'11", and we'll see. I believe it's going to be probably him and Demetrius Freeney battling out for that second cornerback spot.
Roman Tillman.
University of South Dakota safety, might play more towards the line. We'll see if Jaden Mickey stays at nickel or if they move him back. I don't know. We'll see. Super productive guy at University of South Dakota, 94 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 6 pass breakups. Truly could be one of the better center field safeties that maybe we've missed. Bronco Nation has missed there. Getting the ball thrown over the top of him has become rather cringeworthy for Bronco Nation. So let's see if Roman Tillman can step up. He's going to be battling with guys like Derek Ganter, Travis Anderson, even a guy Josiah Alaniz, who I thought really played well towards the end of the season as a true freshman. So we'll see if he comes in and pushes for time. I got to imagine he will. So we'll see what happens for Roman Tillman.
All right, how excited are you to see Jules Goff?
I am excited. I felt bad leaving. I was going to pick one running back, and I didn't pick your Kansas Jayhawk guy. I'm sorry. Harry Stewart is a good-looking power back. But Jules Goff just gives me that, it factor. He's shorter. He's shiftier. Had 270 yards rushing at Pitt last season. I think it says a lot when you see a transfer announced and the fan base is bummed about it. And that happened with Jules. I saw a lot of Pitt fans saying, I wish he had sticked around. This is a shifty guy. You look at the running back, you got Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines, of course. But if you look, Dylan Riley was going to be running back 3 last season, and now he's coming in at running back 1. Weird stuff can happen, and you can never have enough depth at running back. So this is a young man I could see coming in and making a bigger impact than maybe some fans expect.
All right, and then the one other name on this list, and we're excited about all these guys. You could come with every single freshman on the list and say you want to see what he can do, or newcomer, and say we're excited to see him. And we're going to discuss and talk about all these guys over the next month. But you did mention Adam Austin.
Adam Austin, former Arkansas commit. It came down to TCU and Boise State, and his last visit was to TCU. And I'm not gonna lie to you, he went totally quiet on me. I was like, all right, he's gone. Now he ended up being a Bronco, enrolled early. He was a high school safety. He's coming in as a linebacker, and has filled in 6'1", 228 listed on the roster today. That's the size you like to see. And that's the mixture of athleticism that they're looking for with this new generation of linebackers. You know, Bone Phelps played great last season. Got to pencil him in as a starter. But I'm not saying that Adam Austin's going to start day one. I think Jake Ripp and that crew will have something to say about that. As Sincere Brackett as well. That's another name to look out for. But I think Adam Austin could develop over the season with injuries, possibly into a real playmaker for this team with a super athletic background.
What is going on the recruiting front? I know you had one article you posted the other day. I think we have another one in the can that I'm going to try to get up today. But I know what's the spring season like in terms of visits, and when's all that happen? And I know there's junior days usually during spring ball at some point, but what's kind of going on with football recruiting right now? And what do we have on the site or coming to the site?
Well, you got to be excited about Zeke Thomas, the 2028 quarterback committing. He's a super interesting prospect. I talked to him. That article is going to be coming up soon. Really good baseball player. Kind of wish Boise State had a baseball team because he kind of wants to play both ways. We'll see how that affects his recruitment. Obviously, he is committed, so he loves Boise State, but kind of wish they had that option for him. And then, like you said, junior days, official visits, more than I could even count. This group is really taking shape. The 2027 class, that is. And a trend I've seen is Utah, Hawaii, and Nevada, and a lot of them Polynesian background. And if you're a Bronco fan, you got to be excited about that. I think Frank Melee might have something to do with that connection there. So you got to be excited about that. But they are hitting those recruiting trails hard, especially in Utah, Hawaii, and Nevada.
Well, check BroncoNationNews.com. Chris has some, like I said, a couple stories up, some more that are in the can that will be getting posted this week. And then, Chris, we get truly a holiday on Thursday. I don't know if you took it off for opening day or for the first practice, but you did tell me you took off work and you're all in on BSU practice on Thursday. I think it's for Mariners opening day. I'll have to hurry home. We got first pitch of the Cardinals opener at 2:15, and this may be the only day that we're tied for first place this year. So I got to enjoy the opening day while I can. But I know you're a big baseball Mariners guy, so you're excited for this week as well.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, first spring camp and baseball opening day, that's better than Christmas for me. So took the day off I don't have to pick one, both. Hey, let's go with that way. Super excited about the Mariners and Cal Raleigh. If Randy Arozarena could set their stuff aside, that'd be cool. But we don't need that going into the season. But hey, excited to see you on Thursday. Excited to be there for practice. And the best part about all this is all that stuff I just said could all be wrong, and you gotta love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, it's pretty much Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is kind of the spring schedule for the next month. A lot of the Tuesdays and Thursdays are open to the media, and then a lot of the Saturdays are like scrimmages and things that are closed. So, but we'll be out there plenty throughout the spring and have plenty of coverage. Chris, appreciate you, man. I'm going to let you roll and get back to your actual full-time day job, but great work, great stuff. Appreciate you as always, and looking forward to Thursday, seeing you out there for that first practice. And then we got to figure out the timing of the show Thursday, but I'm hoping you're going to be a part of that as well. And looking forward to Thursday. Going to be fun, man.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I'll see you then.
Thanks, Chris. Chris Van Sickle does a tremendous job covering recruiting for us at BNN. Hey, Element Fencing, decks, pergolas, fences, cedar, wrought iron, vinyl. They can do it all. ElementFencing.com. Check them out. Element Fencing online at ElementFencing.com. If you're on the fence about that fencing project, let Brady and his staff help you build that perfect project from the ground up. 25 plus years experience in the fencing business. Element Fencing online, ElementFencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states as well, almost 30 in all. And we'll love that Kuna location. The McCall location is great as well. Ridley's Family Markets. You want that friendly atmosphere, family kind of feel when you walk into a grocery store. You get that at Ridley's Family Markets. You can buy Sun Cruisers there as well. We'll see you at the Kuna location, the others around the area at Ridley's Family markets. Hey, rowpaint.com. Now's the time. Get those projects done. The weather's warming up. Get that siding touched up outside, whether it's interior, exterior painting, those world famous concrete coatings. We had it done twice at our old house, folks. If you're on the, thinking about it, you want to transform the look of that concrete slab in one day. We had 2 different shades of concrete, didn't match. We did it in one day, the project, and it was unbelievable what they can do with those concrete coatings. So just totally transforms the look and feel in one day. So concrete coatings, all the different options they can do, rowpaint.com. Again, check them out online at rowpaint.com. Hey, transportation compliance service, you need a new job? How about the trucking industry? Fresh start. Maybe you're just not happy with your current job, current situation. You want something that's more independent. Well, get out on the open road as a truck driver, and Transportation Compliance Service can help you sign up for that. Transportation Compliance Service. Again, they can help you out every step of the way, paperwork, everything you need to get out there, towing that first load in no time. So it's a local company here in the Treasure Valley helping out folks all over the world. Again, Transportation Compliance Service online, Transportation Compliance Service at transcompservice.com. Dana's worried about the secondary. Or maybe Dan, sorry, not sure, but worry about the secondary. A lot of work to do there. I would agree with that. You got a new coach coming in there as well. So we'll see there. Terrence Brown, what that looks like. So excited to get out there on Thursday and see him. It's going to be a fun spring, and we got tons of coverage for you. We'll have highlights from practice. We'll have all the interviews. This is going to be your spot for the next month. Boise State spring football coverage. Bronco Nation News online, bronconationnews.com. Subscribe right now. Subscribe, bronconationnews.com. We got that 50% offer, 50% off an annual subscription right now, our spring football special. Jump on in. All of Mike Prater's columns, all of Chris Van Sickle's recruiting coverage, Nathan Carroll's analysis, my coverage and reporting, ton of basketball transfer portal news and things coming. Ton of basketball stuff the next month. And then we're right in the middle of spring football now as well. So your spot for up to the minute Boise State coverage with our team of 4 and growing team here at Bronco Nation News. We will put up our coverage of the next month of spring football and basketball reporting with anybody. So would love to have you subscribe. 50% off right now with that annual rate. Just click join VIP up in the corner. It's like $6-7 a month. We'd love to have you jump in and become a paying member and help us out and fuel our coverage the next month here at Bronco Nation News and bronconationnews.com. So thank you guys for your support. Thanks for watching the show. Again, Spencer Danielson speaks at noon. I'm going to try to get down there and see if I can stream it. I don't know if I can. We're going to try to stream Spencer Danielson's press conference if we can on BNN. And we'll see if we can pull that off. If not, I think Boise State has it on their YouTube channel as well today. So we'll get it posted one way or the other afterwards. But again, Sun Cruiser Studios, pick up a Sun Cruiser, whether it's iced tea vodka, lemonade vodka, a lot of great flavors from Sun Cruiser. And of course, Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Never a better time to get out to Lithia Ford of Boise, new or pre-owned Ford vehicle. Nobody does more to support Boise State than Jim Sturk and Lithia Ford of Boise. And they've got the NIL deals with Ben Ford and some of the other players. So get out to Lithia Ford of Boise, and we appreciate them for being our title sponsor here. But again, Spencer Danielson at noon, and then we got tomorrow, Brad Bedell will make his return. Brad Bedell tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Bronco Nation News, and then we'll have Pro Day coverage as well. We may even do tomorrow's show down from Boise State just to be ready for Pro Day. I'll see if maybe Brad wants to come over and do it in person. I don't know. We'll see. But Pro Day coverage tomorrow. We got the first practice on Thursday, and then Friday they're doing a tour of the north end zone for the media, so we'll get an updated tour on that. So appreciate that. Really good show today. Thank you, Vlad. Appreciate that. Nice work here. Thank you guys for the comments. It was a fun show. Talk some basketball with Jay, talk some football. Chris Van Sickle really knows his stuff. And when I looks like I'm begging for your subscription dollars, it's so I can pay guys like Chris Van Sickle more money because he's got a full-time job and he goes out of his way and puts in time when he's home with his family to do all this recruiting coverage and stuff outside of his full-time job. So if you like what you're seeing from Chris Van Sickle, let's pay him more. Let's subscribe. BroncoNationNews.com. Again, 50% off with our VIP special that's going on right now for spring ball and basketball portal the next month. So appreciate it, guys. We'll get down to talk to Spencer. We'll get his takeaways and everything posted to the site this afternoon. major takeaways and any news that comes from his press conference. We'll get all that posted online, and we'll be chatting in the message boards. If you have any questions or anything, the message boards at BroncoNationNews.com. We have a free one for football, free one for basketball as well. And then obviously our VIP board is exclusive content for paid subscribers. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you from Spencer Danielson's press conference here in a little over 90 minutes down at Boise State. And then we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Brad Bedell. Spring football, it's here. We got you covered. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.